almost at the gym already. So we're gonna be hitting legs today. And I'm thinking instead of, making little stupid edits, I feel like it'd be helpful if I'm just like talking through some of my stuff, right? Obviously not just training, but other things as well. Because I know you guys are gonna get bored of me just always talking about like, science and training 24/7. But I mean, that is what most of my page is about. So that's what you're signing up for in general. But still, I know people want me to talk about other things. So I'll be doing a little bit of a yapathon during my training session for you. I'll do a voiceover though, because I hate mic'd up workouts with a passion. I feel like I can't lock in. Like, I'm at the point where I don't even train with music, bro. Like, I've given up training with music. I mean, my headphones, they're broken, so I can't even use them. But I don't know. It's actually nice because my gym has absolutely no music, so it's pure silence, pure, right? So it's a very challenging mental game trying to lift in this gym, but I like it. I like it a lot. Maybe that's weird. I don't know if that's weird, but I like it. I think it gives me a chance to really reflect on a lot of things, not just like training, but also life. And it gives me time to really think about like what I think my purpose is, because I'm kind of existentialist in that sense, because I think you determine your purpose, right? Which I know that might, rub some people the wrong way. It's not meaning that you're like a god and you decide everything, right? Obviously you don't always have control over everything, but like, you are the one that needs to decide, what you're going to do with your life. Nobody's going to do it for you, right? That's kind of the mindset of that. So that's kind of how I live life, right? Like, I determine my path, right? I can't always be aware of what's going to pop up on the path. I can't always be ready for the obstacles, but I can do my best, right? I can set myself up for success by being prepared as much as possible. So we're gonna get in there, we're gonna get some training done. And then I was thinking, I don't know if I wanna do a full day of eating as well. I'm probably not gonna do a full day of eating. Maybe I'll answer some questions. I had a Q&A and I had some leftover questions. So maybe if they're good, maybe you get a Q&A on top of all of this, right? But we'll see, it just depends. But anyways, I'm gonna pull up to the gym, play a little bit of music, get myself in the mood, and then we'll go in and lift in silence like a psychopath. I promise I'm not insane. It's a weird, I don't know. All right, so on to the workout. Today was a pretty okay-ish day. It wasn't really the best. My CNS was low-key fried. Too much muscle damage has just been built up. I've been training way too often, and that's kind of what happens over time, right? You have muscle damage. The CNS detects that, decreases neural drive, so your performance gets, significantly, I don't want to say significantly worse, but it does get a little worse. But either way, talking about other things, as you can see, I'm kind of fiddling around with my setup, and this is something I highly encourage you guys to get more in the habit of, is remembering your setup. Don't just jump on the machine and arbitrarily do reps, right? You need to make sure everything is standardized, including the seat position. And in my case, I have a machine that can actually change its resistance profile. So making sure that you just standardize all these small little details, they do add up over time, right? Because when you are trying to track how much you're actually benefiting from your training, you need to make sure that all the variables are consistent. That way, when you do add weight or you do add a rep, you know it's because of the adaptations you made, not because of adjustments you made to the variables. You also might notice that I am much more controlled with my reps. So I'm having pauses at the top, I'm pausing at the bottom, and I'm honestly doing that just to really standardize my form as much as possible. Because again, a lot of people don't even factor in the speed of their eccentrics or just the tempo in general that they lift with, and they just arbitrarily try to get more concentric reps, which I understand, and it's something every lifter, no matter how much you've been training, how long you've been training, it's something everybody falls into because you're just trying to get stronger. So sometimes you rush things, and sometimes you try to progress before you really should be trying to progress. Honestly, we're not robots, so that kind of mindset is pretty natural, especially if your goal is to get stronger, right? You want to add reps, you want to add weight. So it's only natural that you're going to try to go out of your way to do that, even when maybe it doesn't really physiologically make sense, right? Like, there are moments you have to kind of take a step back from your training and assess, am I progressing because I am trying to influence the variables to allow me to add more reps or allow me to add more weight, or am I progressing as the result of how effective my training is? But nonetheless, as long as you're like 80 to 90% of the time, locked in with your form, locked in with your tempo, and then that like 10 to 20% of the time you ego lift a little bit, right? And maybe you're form isn't amazing, or maybe the tempo isn't amazing. I think as long as you keep that kind of a balance, you are going to see significant progress, right? No matter what. Obviously, if you aren't seeing progress in general, no matter what you do, then you definitely need to assess your training, and you definitely need to assess your nutrition going into the gym, because your nutrition before you train, I would argue, is extremely important, right? I think nutrition has become extremely underrated, right? Because we've said, oh, training's the only thing that really matters, and then diet's like kind of iffy. But it's like, diet does matter, right? How many carbs you have before training does matter. And the timing of those carbs also does matter. This kind of goes without saying, but glucose is your body's favorite, fuel source. Your brain loves it, your muscles love it, and when we look at like neural output or even force output, all of it comes back to glucose, right? I mean, ATP, that's how we synthesize ATP during glycolysis. We need glucose. But play around with the variables, right? If it's not your training, play around with having more carbs before you train. Play around with increasing your water intake, becoming more hydrated. Also, holy fucking ego lift on that rep. I scooted my feet forward like an idiot because I thought I was too far back, but I clearly wasn't. Anyways, I'm gonna throw on some fucking music for the posing, because why not?
Now everything that was in my way is gone, and everyone else still believes in me. It's only a matter of time before I get rid of the police. What do you think of that, Al? This is my perfect
victory! All right, so obviously, a lot later in the day, lots of things have happened. I filmed what I needed to in terms of like content, and then I voiced over the training for you guys because I promised I'd do that. So now we're on the way. There's these packages here for TheXhemist pre-workout that I'm gonna go drop off at this little grocery store called Hy-Vee, right? If you're in the Midwest, you know what it is. But I forgot to take this in earlier. Thankfully, Hy-Vee does like USPS later in the day, which is helpful for people like me with ADHD, which something I actually kind of wanted to talk about. Is something that I'm a little bit like, actually I'll go the other way, fuck it. Oh, you're going that way? Where are you going? You gonna go that way? I'm gonna go this way. Shit. Playing like, trying to figure out where they wanted to go, because there's so in this back road area where my house is, it's like a one-way, so like you turn right and there's somebody coming at you. So I was trying to figure out where the fuck they wanted to go. But anyways, I was gonna talk a little bit. Oh god, I forgot. This is why I don't go this way. Okay, we're fine. It's a really steep fucking hill. I thought my car was screwed, but it's not. So we're good. All right, now what I finally wanted to say. I just want to talk about, I think ADHD is something that doesn't get talked enough about, especially, if you want to be able to function more normally. And I never really thought too hard about it until today. And that's your, cognitive function, right? Your memory. And it's actually something you need to continuously, test and train. Like, I think it's actually insanely important to challenge yourself with literal mental games. And like, I'm like fucking downloading like these old things, like old games I used to play on my phone, that are basically designed to challenge my thought process, my thinking. So I've literally been fucking playing puzzle games while I do my cardio. It's actually really helpful to pass the time, but it's also really just like stimulating mentally, and it makes my brain feel good, which is crazy to say, because like with ADHD, it's hard to describe, but it's like a fucking burning, not like burning, but like a numbing, like dull ache in your head, right? Where you just feel like you can't focus on anything, and it's like impossible to lock in on certain things. But like with that, like I felt so much like more normal. It was weird. And after the fact, I feel a little bit better, which might be a little bit placebo, but like I could definitely tell that is something I need to do more of for myself. So especially if you in the audience, if any of you have ADHD or you think you might, I'd play around with it. I think it's pretty helpful. Aside from the mental, aspect, like improving your memory, right? Which I don't think it's talked enough about. With like short-term memory is really like just iffy sometimes with ADHD. Like, you forget to do tasks, you get sidetracked really easily. So that obviously is like the main benefit, but I think the other like genuine benefit is like mental stimulation. Like I constantly seek mental stimulation from things, right? But like getting quick little dopamine hits to random things on TikTok don't really do it for me, right? Like it makes it worse sometimes. But like, you're encouraged to continuously doom scroll, trying to find, you know, fun things to watch, entertaining things to watch, or things that are satisfying, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't actually help. It doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't make you feel more normal. And that's something like I recognize in myself, and I've tried to stop doom scrolling as much as possible. Oh my god, my windscreen is so fucking cooked. Good lord. But I don't know. I feel like it's just like it's also hard just to talk about ADHD because people think it's like you're making excuses. It's weird the way like society treats like actual conditions like that. Like they're not, I don't want to say it's a disability, right? Like that's not the right word, but they almost like, anytime you talk about hardships like that, it's like they almost resort to this. It's the same thing with all kinds of like other issues, right? Or disorders. They almost like caveman you and be like, oh, just focus better. Oh, just improve your diet. Like, my diet is probably better than 99% of the adults in this country, right? In the US, right? Like, my diet is like 90% whole foods, right? And I get in all my RDIs. My omega-3 is high. I get a good amount of omega-6. I have a good moderate protein intake. I eat higher carbs. Like everything I do, and I've tried all kinds of diets. I've even tried lower carb diets and higher fat diets. That actually made me feel worse. But I've tried everything, right? Diet is not why I have ADHD. I can promise you that. It actually, is ridiculous. Trying to talk about it and get people to like just understand. It's like, I'm not trying to make excuses. It's just, you have to like learn to work around it. Like it's an obstacle in my life, right? Like, so it's probably an obstacle for you. And if you don't want to be on like Adderall or Ritalin, you're gonna be in for a ride. And I personally do not want to be on Adderall or Ritalin. I don't have good experiences with that kind of stuff, but there might be some like newer stuff that I could check out in the future and play around with. But for now, I'm gonna play my little puzzle games. Anyways, I'm here, so I'm gonna go drop these off, and then I gotta go pick up Ella, and then maybe I'll do a Q&A. Maybe I'll finish it off with the questions I didn't answer, but I still haven't checked them. I have no idea if they're good or not. If they're not, I'm just ending the video, bro. Fuck it.